Hi everybody, it's Barry at Rich Picks. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about something that's dear to my heart, and that's heritage documentation. Now, we have a huge range of data capture methods that we can use for documenting heritage, and bear in mind somebody's heritage could be someone else's infrastructure. We're trying to, anything over 50 years old could be classed as heritage. So what we're going to be talking about could apply to all sorts of things, from heritage to asset management if you're an infrastructure manager. But we have a plethora of techniques now which we can use to document, whether that's checking the geometry, condition, all sorts of things. So we have LiDAR, laser scanning, static, we have mobile LiDAR, we have geoslam, we have photogrammetry, we have close range photogrammetry, and we have drone, and we have normal image that you take from your iPhone or whatever. So how can we combine all these into one platform so we can view them? My problem with point clouds is quite often the only way to view them is through a third-party app like something like Naira, which is fantastic, but you need also to look at other things as well, possibly, like it may be the 2D topographic or utility services drawings or other notation or other documentation. So how do we bring all these together? Well, I'm going to be showing you an example that I did, and this is the Queen's Tower in Imperial College in London. It's one of the tallest buildings around, as you'll see, great views. But it required 4 or 5 different techniques to fully document it. So I'm going to be showing you that now. So let's jump over and we'll have a look at the portal. And probably the first thing to notice about this is actually a website. So anybody who's got permission and the link can view this and edit and collaborate with it. But first thing is just a simple 360 panorama view. This is Imperial College is just in South Kensington. This is the Albert Hall, obviously great vantage point, but it just shows you sort of the detail we can get from it. But let's talk about the orthos. So these were derived from a drone survey. We'll send links to the people who are doing the work with our partners in this. But what we hear, this is a combination. This is an 8 gigabyte compilation of all 4 elevations in one image, so we can just zoom in, and you can zoom in actually using your Windows browser, your Windows image browser. This system allows us, so this is a system that is this is Zinc 360 system, which is one that is a really great system. But it allows us to annotate collaboratively and share information. So you can look at the zoom capabilities that we've got on this, but we have the ability to add all sorts of detail and information that we want to. So we're going to draw and highlight an area, color code it. You can color code it depending on what sort of defect, what you want to report on, change the transparency, do all sorts of things, customize it to suit yourself and your own regime and the way that you want to share this information. You've got a whole slew of tools to make it pretty, sortable and organized for you and your client and how they want. Some very simple tools which allow you to tag things, but also to save links to URLs to other documents in there. So we can do the remote inspection from wherever we are. We put all 4 elevations into one mega ortho image. Then we click on it because we've also identified the positions where all the 360s are. Now, this is actually inside the top of the tower, and when you get inside, there's places that the public will never ever get to this. You'll see some graffiti from some of the students who've used it as a prank to get in. But these are around the inside of this tower, all the people who contributed to it, like Mr. Harrison, who was a surveyor, and the secretary, all of those have plaques. Now, this is a HDR photography, so what we've done is reduce the impact of the shadows and recovered some of the shadows here. But what we get is a 360 visualization and a sense of detail, a level of detail you're just not going to get from a LiDAR point cloud. Again, we can attach bits of information to the 360 image as well, so we can add notes, add whatever we like really, add video, add photographs, close-ups, all sorts of information, all online. And provided you've got editing information, you can contribute this. And so we've now got a little pop-up. You can see that yellow folder telling us we've got something. Okay, so let's jump back to the ortho photo. But it's not just ortho photos as well. We can split the panes in this, and we can start to load up. In this case, we're using a Poetry, I think it is, as an interface, as a host, but you could equally use Cesium or a dozen others out there. And this is a point cloud. Now, this is a decimated point cloud, so we've actually used some LOD techniques to scale it down a bit, but this is both the internal and the external scans that have been generated from a mixture of LiDAR scanning and also the photogrammetry. So we can change the point budget, zoom in, get things, and you see it's updating. It takes a little time to update, but this is a website, so I think we can excuse it for a little while. But this allows us then to extract information, take dimensions. We can export this, download it, and then do our modelling from it as well, should we need to. If we need to do any redesign, any restructuring, any other things like that. But let's click on another. Let's have a look at the top-down view. So this is an ortho top-down, and if you can see, we're clicking on some 360 images, and this is in the foundations below where the buttresses and all the services go to light it up. So and this is again a place that the public would never ever view, and running a facility like this has to be accessible. But also it's accessible to all the contractors who might want to work there. You can share that information with people. Okay, let's jump up to another 360 view as well, just so you can have another look at those. So what we have the ability here is to combine 360 imagery, plane imagery, text, point clouds. Also we can put in 3D models as well, so we can import CAD models should we wish to. So what will we look at next, I think? Yeah, well, let's go to another site. What we're going to do here is look at a more contemporary example of documentation, and this is a railway bridge in Glasgow that a client of ours wanted to have a visual inspection of. But here we're not just combining 360 imagery, we're also combining it with existing 2D data. So what we've got here is the DWG file of a survey, topographic survey. And topographic surveys are great, but when it says dense vegetation, we don't know how dense that is. So let's look at, in this case, a satellite image. Okay, but then also we can go and start to look at street level and look at and see what we've got. And in this case, we wanted to have a look at the condition and inspect it to see what was going to be required, the scope of the problems of refurbishment. Now, obviously, this is a hugely important task, but this, I believe, was embedded in the tender documentation, which saves an awful lot of people time. It allows them to be more confident in producing quotes that mean something. In this case, small stitching error there, sorry for that, but what we're doing here is we're just having a look and being able to get information which we wouldn't get from a conventional topo or conventional utility survey. We've used a bit of HDR here to try and get detail in the shadows. We weren't too bothered about that, but we did want to see sort of what vegetation, well, just how dense is it. So stick a camera on a pole, put it up there, and then you've got a view, safety, without scaffolding, without ladders, without people working at heights. And then we can look at a closer view that we took of the fabrication, the condition of the steelwork. And we can just add in these on and additional notes if we want to collaborate with a partner, a colleague, a contractor, a client, customer. And by giving them a link, we can share all this information online with them. It may well be we just want to add simple notes for ourselves, just to help with the drafting of the reporting. And of course, we could take screen grabs from any part of this if we wanted to use it as a reporting tool to identify specific areas and things. So that's really what we are trying to do with this, combining different information. I hope that gave you some food for thought. Maybe it's a different way of dealing and sharing geospatial information and sharing it with a community outside the CAD environment, expanding the number of people who can experience, get information and help deliver projects, manage things in a much clearer, simpler way. It's far easier to show people rather than write a big Word document. All the companies that we mentioned, there are links below who we've name checked, so you can go and find out yourself about them. We don't sell any software ourselves. What we just do is try and find the best solution. You will find something that's comfortable for you, great working relationship with people, but some lovely companies out there to deal with, and all the ones we mentioned are really great, professional, have great products. We don't necessarily have a preference, or at least we don't tell you that we do, but that's up to you to decide. What we do is provide training on photography, photogrammetry, reality capture, and more importantly, how we make these shareable. How you can take this information and deliver more value to it by expanding the number of people you can share it with. None of the stuff that you see is really expensive compared to the kit. It's a different revenue stream, a different way of working, and providing value and service to your clients and to use internally yourselves. But if you want to know more, please, the links to our workshops, which we do on a fairly regular basis, are down below. But in the meantime, if you need any more information, please drop me a line at barry@therichpixel.com. It'll be under here somewhere, and then you can please feel free to drop me a line, ask me questions. Hopefully, if I don't know the answer, I'm probably pretty sure I know the person in the sector who would be able to help you. Please feel free to drop by this. I look forward to seeing you at the next one of these. We do these sporadically, so probably best to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can keep up to date with things that are happening. We've got a number of great interviews coming up with people, sharing information. This is all done really because we are passionate about the subject. We don't have backing from a major multinational global company. We don't do lots of work in branding and things. What we do want to do is just share information. Might be slightly under the current, under the radar, but we're all in the same business of trying to share and move people and get more people involved with sharing information in 3D or 2.5D or even 2D sometimes. But 3D and sharing and bringing all this to bear and to add value and make life simpler for all of us is what we're trying to do. All right, thank you for your time, appreciate it, and look forward to you seeing the next one of these. Okay, you take care and play nice. Okay, bye-bye.